In the fog-shrouded streets of 19th-century London, a figure emerged from the shadows who would haunt the imaginations of generations to come. Jack the Ripper, as the killer came to be known, terrorized the Whitechapel district with a string of brutal murders that defied comprehension. Between August and November of 1888, 5 women, all of them impoverished and forced into precarious circumstances, were slain in a manner so grotesque that even seasoned investigators were left shaken. The killer's identity remained elusive, leaving a trail of terror and mystery that has inspired countless theories, books, and investigations. But what if the answer to this infamous enigma lies not in Victorian London, but across the Atlantic in America? For decades, the list of Jack the Ripper suspects has included doctors, butchers, artists, and even members of the British royal family. Theories have ranged from plausible to outlandish, with some arguing that the Ripper's crimes were the work of a deranged local, while others insist that the killer was a well-traveled aristocrat. But a new wave of investigation has turned its gaze westward, toward an American suspect whose life and movements present startling parallels to the infamous murders in Whitechapel. Could Jack the Ripper have been a transient killer, leaving a trail of blood that spanned 2 continents? The story of this new suspect begins in New York City, where an ambitious and charismatic man named Dr. Francis Tumblety first made his mark. Tumblety was a self-styled doctor and quack medicine salesman, known for his flamboyant personality and questionable medical practices. Born in Ireland in the early 19th century, he emigrated to the United States as a young man, quickly building a reputation as a smooth-talking purveyor of miracle cures. By the time he reached middle age, Tumblety had amassed a considerable fortune, but his wealth did little to shield him from controversy. Tumblety was a man of contradictions. On one hand, he presented himself as an educated physician, often dressing in elaborate attire and cultivating an air of sophistication. On the other hand, he had a darker side, a pronounced disdain for women, particularly those he considered fallen or immoral. Accounts from those who knew him paint a picture of a man who harbored deep-seated misogyny, often speaking in vitriolic terms about women. His private life was equally murky, marked by rumors of scandal and brushes with the law. In the mid-1880s, Tumblety's travels brought him to London, where he mingled with the city's elite and worked to expand his medical enterprises. It was during this time that the Whitechapel murders began, plunging the East End into fear. The killings were unlike anything the city had seen before. The Ripper's victims, all women, were not only murdered but mutilated in ways that suggested both a macabre fascination with anatomy and an overwhelming hatred of women. The precision of the mutilations led many to speculate that the killer had medical training, perhaps even surgical expertise. As investigators scrambled to piece together clues, suspicion began to fall on outsiders and transient figures who had recently arrived in London. Tumblety, with his medical background and abrasive demeanor, became a person of interest. Police records from the time reveal that he was indeed arrested in London during the Ripper's killing spree, though the charges were unrelated to the murders. He was later released, but his abrupt departure from England shortly thereafter raised eyebrows. Tumblety fled to France and then returned to the United States, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions. The case against Tumblety as Jack the Ripper is circumstantial but compelling. Proponents of this theory point to his documented misogyny, his anatomical knowledge, and his suspicious movements. Some researchers believe that Tumblety's departure from London was not a mere coincidence, but a calculated escape to avoid further scrutiny. Adding to the intrigue are reports that Scotland Yard detectives traveled to the United States after Tumblety's return, possibly to keep him under surveillance or gather additional evidence. Critics of the Tumblety theory argue that while he was undoubtedly a shady character, there is no concrete evidence linking him to the Whitechapel murders. His medical knowledge, while notable, did not necessarily include the surgical precision exhibited by the Ripper. Furthermore, the idea of an American killer traveling to London to commit such heinous acts and then disappearing back across the Atlantic has been dismissed by some as too far-fetched. Yet, the absence of definitive proof has done little to quell speculation, particularly in light of new revelations that continue to emerge. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Tumblety theory is its potential to connect the Whitechapel murders to a series of similar killings in the United States. In the years following the Ripper spree, several American cities, including New York, Chicago, and New Orleans, experienced their own waves of brutal, unsolved murders. These killings often targeted women and featured mutilations eerily reminiscent of the Ripper's handiwork. Could these crimes have been the work of the same individual, moving between continents to evade capture? In recent years, advancements in forensic science and historical research have breathed new life into the Jack the Ripper case. Investigators and enthusiasts alike have pored over archives, revisiting old evidence and uncovering new leads. One of the most significant breakthroughs came in the form of DNA analysis applied to letters allegedly sent by the Ripper to the police and press. While the results have been inconclusive, they have fueled renewed interest in identifying the killer once and for all. The Tumblety theory has also gained traction thanks to the efforts of dedicated researchers who have unearthed forgotten documents and testimony. Among these discoveries are reports from individuals who claimed to have seen Tumblety acting suspiciously in the Whitechapel area during the time of the murders. One account, recorded years later, describes a man fitting Tumblety's description lurking near the scene of one of the killings. While such anecdotes are tantalizing, they fall short of providing the definitive evidence needed to close the case. As the debate rages on, the figure of Dr. Francis Tumblety remains both enigmatic and polarizing. To some, he represents the quintessential red herring, an eccentric and morally dubious man who happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. To others, he is the embodiment of Jack the Ripper, his dark impulses concealed beneath a veneer of respectability. The truth, as with so many aspects of this case, remains maddeningly out of reach. The enduring mystery of Jack the Ripper is a testament to the human fascination with the unknown. Over a century after the murders, the case continues to captivate and confound, its unsolved status a reminder of the limits of both technology and imagination. The possibility of an American connection adds yet another layer to this intricate puzzle, inviting us to consider the broader context of crime and society in the late 19th century. Whether or not Dr. Francis Tumblety was the Ripper, his story serves as a poignant illustration of the era's anxieties and obsessions, a mirror reflecting the fears of a rapidly changing world. As we delve deeper into the shadowy corridors of history, the search for Jack the Ripper's true identity continues. Each new theory, no matter how far-fetched, brings us closer to understanding the complexities of this enduring mystery. And while the ultimate answer may remain elusive, the journey itself, with its twists, turns, and revelations, offers a glimpse into the darker corners of human nature. Perhaps that is the real legacy of Jack the Ripper, not just a name etched in infamy, but a reminder of the secrets that lie hidden in the fog, waiting to be uncovered.